Hey there, welcome back to Playground Sessions YouTube channel. I'm Phil, I'm your teacher for the day. Today we're looking at a Post Malone song. You guys all know this one, it's called Rockstar. And I'm gonna be teaching you the chorus from our advanced level arrangement. So we got a busy left-hand part, we've got a bunch of right-hand notes, we're gonna put them together. It sounds a little something like this. 1, 2, set, go. All right, sweet. We're gonna be learning this one in this video. Right hand first, then left hand, then we'll put them together. We're talking about all the rhythms, the fingering, the hand positions. We're gonna break it down in detail. So let's get into it. We'll start with the right hand melody first. The key signature is 2 flats. All B's and all E's are flat, B flat and E flat. That tells us we're in the key of either B flat major or G minor. And when we add the left hand to this, it'll become clear why we're actually in G minor. Okay? The time signature is 4/4. That means there are 4 beats in each measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. Now, we see a ton of what we call ink here in the notation. In other words, we see a lot of black, we see a lot of notes, and we see a lot of beams across those notes. That means we see a lot of 16th notes. We see some other syncopations like some 8th notes and things like that, but there's a lot of notes in this section. And rhythmically speaking, even though the tempo is not too fast, we're going to be playing the notes pretty quickly. Okay? So the notes themselves and the hand position are actually quite easy in this section. Other than our very first note of this section, which is a D up here, we're moving down and we're playing B flat with our third finger, A with our second finger, and G with our thumb. And those are literally the only notes in this section. There's a ton of them, but we're staying in this position. The trick in this section lies in the rhythms. All right, so we've got a lot of 16th notes, but sometimes we see a beat grouped together as an 8th note and 2 16th notes, like the end of the second measure in the notation above, for example. We see 8, 16, 16. Other times we see 16, 16, 16, 16. So let's go through the notes now and we'll talk about the rhythms as we go. As I mentioned, we start with a 2 finger on D, but that's really because that's the end of the section that came before this, the verse. So we're up in a higher position and we play this D, and then during the next rest, we shift down into the position I just went over, third finger on B flat. Okay, so we got 4 of those. Next measure, we see more of those. We got 1 E and 2 E and down to A, 3 E and then we have 8, 16, 16. So that measure again is 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Rest, rest. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1. Okay, same idea. Same thing moving forward. 3 E and 4 and 1. See that? Next phrase, same thing. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1. 2. Next phrase, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Next phrase is slightly different. Here's where we switch things up. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Okay, so what's different here? It's just 1/16th note on beat 4 of that measure. Instead of playing an 8th note and ending with 2/16th notes, we're playing 2 16s on A, then finishing it out with 2 more 16s. See that? All right, moving forward, the next phrase is also altered slightly. 4E and a 1. Eighth note here on beat 1. 16, 16s, and then here on beat 3, another eighth note, 16s, 8, 16s. So again, rhythmically, we're changing it up ever so slightly. Final phrase is like we had up top. 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and a. And that's it for this section, all right? So let's try this now in time, but we'll do it at a slower speed to start so that we have extra time to really focus on the rhythmic variations that we see and also make sure we're playing all of these 16th notes in time. Okay? Let's try it at the slow speed first. 1, 2, set, go. 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and a 1. Good. A little bit different, all 16s. Good. Now we have some eighth notes. Good. Now just like the first phrase. There we have it. All right, so pause, rewind, and play back at that speed as needed. But now, when you're ready, let's try this thing at full tempo. 1, 2, set, go. All right, we got 100% on the right hand. That's a lot of notes, right? It's important, here's a little tip for you. It's important when you're playing all of those 16th notes at a fast tempo to have a loose, bouncy wrist. You gotta let it bounce like this. You can't be tight here, because then your whole arm will have to play 16th notes, right? If you have your loose, bouncy wrist, it's really just all coming from up here in the front. That's what you want. You want to be able to do this. Okay, so loosen up a little bit. I like to do this to warm up a little bit anyways with my wrists. You want a bouncy wrist. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're practicing that right hand part. But now I think we should move over to the left hand. But before we do, let me tell you guys that there's a lot more to this song than we're covering today in this video. There's some repetition, yes, through into the next sections, but each section is unique and has its own melody and rhythmic stuff going on. So if you want to learn the rest of this song and be able to play the full song, you got to do it in the Playground Sessions interactive app. You can also learn it in different difficulty levels as well. The intermediate level arrangement, we just have chords in the left hand. But in the advanced arrangement, which we're doing right now, we actually have a pretty busy left-hand part, and I'll show you that in just a second. But there's something for everyone in the app, and I want you to explore it because we're doing a free trial right now. For 30 days, you can access the app like a full paid member can. But there's no strings attached. You don't have to pay anything up front. So tap this card above that says free trial and check it out for yourself. But for now, let's get back into this video. I'm going to show you the left hand for the chorus right now. Essentially, there are only two chords in this section, G minor and E flat major. Okay, that's the gist of it. But here in the advanced level arrangement, we've added some rhythm and we've added some range so that it's a little more complicated and a little more interesting. We're going to play eighth note rhythms through the majority of this section, which means 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're going to outline each chord by playing the root, the fifth, and the third an octave above. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to do this up and down pattern. Same thing down to the E flat chord. Okay, then back to G minor. Now there's a little bit of variation, like here coming up in measure 11, we see E flat over B flat. So we're doing this inversion. Then we drop it down to the wider one. Again, just for a little bit of variety. Then we're back to G minor, but check out measure 13 here. We have a quarter note on beat 2. We're not playing an eighth note, so keep that in mind when we're going through. Okay, but that's it. G minor to E flat. So guys, let's try this. I'm going to kick it up to full tempo and let's give it a shot. 1, 2, set, go. Down to E flat. Back up. E flat over B flat. Now down. 1 and 2. Good. Hey, we did it. We got the left hand down at 100% too. So now our final step is to put the hands together. Let's just jump in. We'll do it slowly to start, and then we'll speed it up to full tempo, and that's it. And don't forget, tap this card above that says, "What are you waiting for?" and open it in a new tab, because when we're done with this video, you gotta learn the rest of this song in the interactive app. There's also a ton more in the app. We got lessons from YouTube star David Sides. We got video lessons from Harry Connick Jr. teaching you how to play. We got arrangements by The Theorist, who's another YouTube star. We got a ton going on in the app, so you gotta check it out. All right, let's put these hands together. 1, 2, set, go. There we go, 100% at the slow speed. Great work. Now, final step, let's go ahead and do it. Rockstar by Post Malone. This is the chorus at the advanced level. Hands together, full speed. Let's do it. 1, 2, set, go. right, guys, we did it. We got 100% across the board and we're playing this chorus perfectly. Post Malone, if you're watching this video, which you're probably not, but hey, if you are, let me know below what you liked about the lesson. Maybe you can post a video of yourself playing it. That'd be awesome. Anyone else watching at home, if you learned something and you liked the lesson, hit me with a thumbs up and write a comment below. Let's have a discussion. I check these comments on the daily and I try to get back to you guys as quickly as I can. Well, until the next video lesson, I'll see you guys soon.
The features you saw on screen today can be at your fingertips with the Playground Sessions app. Co-created by music legend Quincy Jones, Playground teaches the piano with interactive feedback and gaming features, all while using your favorite songs. Alright guys, I'm Phil. Hit subscribe so I can see you for the next video.